So Workforce was funded by CDSS's Quality Counts grant, and we support all child care for tribal children in the state of California. So that could be a center, it could be a Head Start, it could be a CCDF program, it could be a Family Friend and Neighbor, it could be a certificate program for family child care, relative care, anyone who's dedicated to caring for a tribal child in the state of California between the ages of 0 and 5 years. So we created our workforce. It's really just an opportunity to build the quality improvement of our centers, our family child cares, and to do that in a culturally relevant way. Counties across the state of California have their own quality improvement systems where they do this and they support our educators throughout the state. But TCCAC thought we need something that's directly just for tribes, that's listening to our tribal programs and saying, what is it that you need? And creating a program and a series of trainings and supports for higher education, really specifically for our communities. So we also help people identify and overcome barriers to reaching those goals. So once anyone signs up for our program, they do a one-on-one meeting with me, and maybe they say, I want to go back to school. How do I even get started? Or I want to get my child care permit. Where do I go? So we help them kind of set goals for their year and what kind of trainings they want to focus on that year, what kind of education, and what they need to get those to move towards those goals. So I kind of talked about some of the requirements. So again, supporting tribal children in early education or childcare between the ages of 0 and 5. Working with me, you have to meet with me at least once throughout the year to work on and create a professional development plan. There are bonuses, potentials, depending on availability of funds. And then our grant year runs July 1st to June 30th. So registration for this year is closed as of December 31st, and I've already probably had 25 people in the last month still want to join. So we started, when I started, I think there were 40 in the workforce, and as of now, as of the close of December, we're at 185. So. Wow, that's incredible. They are. Yeah, and we've grown. We have so many more programs. I will get to numbers, but I think my last count is we're supporting over 36 different tribal programs in the state of California. So it's grown a lot, and more people already saying, how can I sign up? I had another program contact me the other day, and I was like, you're gonna have to wait till July 1st. But so people are ready and excited. Yes, and I am directing them to that as well. So, so yes, we reopen July 1st for anybody who's not a part of Workforce or your programs. But you can join our TQIS as an administrator. There isn't a deadline for that. You can still jump in this year on our TQIS program, which Jenny just talked about. Okay, so I do this presentation for a lot of people. So here's how you apply when July 1st comes. If you are already a workforce participant, which I know I have a lot in this room, you don't need to reapply on iPinwheel. You just need to meet with me. If you're brand new, then you do need to go and apply through iPinwheel, and we'll get you set up. That's kind of our database. That's where I'm going to track all of your education, all of your trainings for the whole year. Okay, so there's two ways. So it is a stipend program. It's we're trying to incentivize you going back to school, incentivize you building your knowledge and your quality of your programs so that it can extend out exponentially and reach all of the children that our educators and our child care providers are working with. So you can do it two ways. You can go back to school and take ECE classes or be working towards an ECE degree. That could be an associate's, a bachelor's or a master's degree. We pay stipends for all of those classes you're doing. And then we also pay a big bonus when you complete your degree. And then the other track is to do professional development. So we've created, I'm going to go into each of the pathways, but we've created a series of trainings throughout the year. We really listened to our communities and our TQIS, our board, our staff, kind of collaborated with everybody to say, what do our tribal communities need? What are you seeing in your centers? What are you asking for? What kind of training do you need and support? So each year we create a new track of trainings based on the feedback that we get. So we're going to do some brainstorming here in a minute, and Jenny's going to help us. So maybe we can get some new ideas for our new workforce year that starts in July. Okay, so just a little more on our higher education track. These are some of the different areas that you can be working towards and receive a stipend for. This is some of the amounts that we're paying out this year for some of those higher education stipends. So if you're taking an ECE course or if you're in an ECE degree, working towards a degree, then we're going to pay. So let me back up. If you're working on a business associates, but you take an ECE class, I'm going to pay you a stipend for your ECE class. If you're working on an ECE towards child development, then I'm going to pay a stipend for every class that you take, as well as that bonus when you finish. So you can see here we also reimburse and support people with textbooks, supplies and materials, if they get their child care license, if they get a teaching permit, and then if they complete any of those degrees. All right, so these are the pathways. If you're doing professional development, these are the different pathways that we came up with for this year, and I'll go into each of them. So our health and safety pathway, Jenny told you earlier, they worked so hard to create the tribal health and safety standards, and we took those and we used to have them on a platform called Coaching Companion, and some people just, computers is not a thing. I'm not a techie person. We really wanted to personalize it. So I took those online trainings and we created a monthly training. I do one training a month. It's like the second Tuesday of every month or the first Tuesday of every month. I do it at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. So sometimes it's hard for teachers to jump out of the classroom. So everybody can have a chance to jump on, and it goes through all the different safety areas. So this is the list, and each month what we train on, and then each person, they're about an hour, 40 minutes to an hour training. People can also get a stipend for completing their CPR and first aid, as well as their food handlers. Okay, in addition, under our health and safety pathway, we really feel that in our communities, nature is a part of health. I know for me in my life, that is such a big part of my mental health, my everything, my spiritual health, my physical health is being in nature. So we included our Nature and ECE series in our health and safety pathway. And these are 4 different webinars that I've taken, and we pull some webinar footage, but we also have a lot of discussion around these 4 different topics. Okay, our next pathway is our wellness and healing pathway. TCCAC really prioritizes this. I know you hear it over and over and over, everything from starting with our prayer circles, our saging. Compassion is key. Our communities have been through historical trauma, generational trauma. Our communities, our nation, and globally have been through many years of trauma and just uncertainties. So we really wanted to build into our pathways something that supported our teachers, our providers, your own social emotional. We talk so much in the curriculum world about social emotional curriculum for children, but as adults, we need our own social emotional curriculum. So we've had some amazing partners this year to really provide that for our workforce, around trauma-informed care, around their own healing, around burnout, avoiding burnout, and just building that circle of compassion for themselves, for each other, so that we can be stronger for our children. So this is one of the ways that we did that, is we partnered with a group called Thrive by Design. Some of you have been in their, raise your hand if you've been in their cohorts or done one of their trainings. So They're awesome. Do you guys agree? So they are amazing, and they have created 2 different cohorts for us. In the fall, they did a cohort just for administrators. It was 8 weeks. It was incredible. Just such a great time for administrators to come together, talk about some of their own burnout and mental health stuff, how they can support their staff, leadership skills, and building. It was a really great group. And now they're in the midst of doing one for teachers and providers. And they will be with us live for an amazing training in April at UC Davis. So make sure you guys join us for that. They're doing something called the Awe Experience. So the first half of the day, we're going to be in the classroom. We're going to be doing some of their curriculum that they've created. And then the afternoon, we get to go explore the campus at UC Davis, some of the gardens, and this amazing awe experience in nature. So I'm very excited about that. Our early learning leadership pathway. This is really a pathway to support either master teachers, our leadership, our administrators, taking your skills to the next level to provide support for those that you are coaching. And we do this through Coaching Companion. We've partnered with them, and it's a year-long collaboration where teachers and providers are partnered with coaches to really work on a specific area in the classroom that they want to build. As those teachers become really leaders in their classrooms and in your programs based on the support that they're learning through Coaching Companion. We have our partnership with California Early Childhood Mentor Program, which Jenny talked about a little bit. So they've done 2 cohorts for us this year. They just finished one, and they're getting ready to start a second one, and just building mentors within our tribal communities. And then our TQIS meetings, which Jenny went through, that we meet once a month, and we support our administrators. So all of these trainings come with a stipend attached. So they're not only getting support, we're also kind of incentivizing it and giving you guys a little bit support as you come to these meetings and gain so much knowledge. All right, our next pathway is family engagement in tribal communities. So we've partnered with the Child Care Resource Center. I don't think they're here yet. They're amazing. They're on their way. They will be here. I'm sure many of you, has anybody heard about parent cafes or been part of a parent cafe? Doing amazing things across the state, and especially in our tribal communities. We're so excited to have partnered with them. I hear the best feedback on how it's just really changing parent involvement in our communities. I've had people tell me they've never seen so many parents come to their meetings as they've been having. So they've done parent cafe trainings for us. They've done trauma-informed care just for our family, friend, and neighbor and family child care providers. And then they did a series in the fall on the protective factors. This just goes a little bit deeper into what they did with us. So next is our cultural humility pathways. Who is joining us for our cultural humility cohort? Okay, so we have 5 sessions. This is being put on by the Susquehanna Intertribal Council. They started in January, and it's once a month for 5 months, and it's all about the history of Native Americans in California, explaining historical processes of extreme and systematic trauma, but also really handling that healing piece. What are tribal communities doing to heal their populations, to educate their people on what has happened and moving forward, more importantly. They will be with us tomorrow. They're gonna Zoom in and do a live training with us for an hour tomorrow. So you'll get to meet Charlie and Sal, and they're gonna be sharing a little bit more about this cohort with us. And this was also helped, California Mentor Program helped fund this program. So that was a great partnership as well. Okay, Cradleboard, we have a lot of pathways. Cradleboard to toddling pathways. This is our infant, where we have partnered with Program for Infant Toddler Care. And they did a cohort for us in the fall on social emotional development. Such a great group. They finished up, it is a 20-hour course. So it's every other week till we add up to 20 hours. And participants that join this cohort do have the option to register with Fresno State and actually receive a college credit for it. So we just finished up that in January, and now we're starting another one this month, and it's family, culture, and providers. So that's getting ready to kick off. Okay, here's our last pathway. Our STEAM pathway. I know as an administrator, this was the number one thing when I was an administrator that the teachers were asking me for, besides social, emotional, behavior, mental health. That was a big one too, but science, math, technology. I had so many teachers come to me, and I would have been one myself that said, I'm not a math person. How do I, even preschool math, not my thing. How do I bring this into my classroom? So we have some incredible partners, and one of them will be with us on Saturday for a training. So we started, I'm gonna come back to that slide. So we partnered with Tamar Andrews. She's local here in San Diego. She's been with us before. We created a virtual series of trainings in September, October, and November. I know we've all sat in way too many virtual trainings over the last 5 years. These are so exciting, people. Like every single one of these I get out of and I say, I can't wait to be a grandparent because I can't wait to do all this fun stuff I just learned. I can't wait. My children are 19 and 21, but I kind of can't wait because so many good ideas and so exciting. She's just such a dynamic presenter. We also partnered with STEAM Starters, so any of our workforce can go online to California Early Childhood and look up the Tinkering Studio and look up the STEAM Starters course and do any of these trainings and receive a stipend for them as well. Okay, that was a lot. We have so much going on this year. But these are different ways that people can receive a stipend. I'm going to go over some numbers from last year, and then I'll give you a little update on this year. So for the 22-23 year, we ended the year with 135 workforce participants, which was incredible. We did 132 professional development plans, and we worked with 23 different California tribal organizations. 33 people completed college courses. 10 people graduated with degrees in ECE. I got a couple in this room over here. And still working towards, and just keep going. They just keep going. April's in her master's program now. So, and we paid out over $150,000 in stipends to our tribal workforce. So here's some updates where we're at this year. Like I said, we have 185 workforce participants, which would be more if we didn't have to cut it off. We'd definitely be over 200 by now. So I foresee that number jumping once we start our new year in July. 159 of those are center providers. That would be teachers, administrators, support staff, and then 26 of those are family, friend, and neighbor or family child care homes. That number we doubled this year. That was really a goal of mine. April's a big supporter. I have so many people in this room that really support those certificate programs and have encouraged their participants, the communities that they support to jump on board, and those people are so isolated. They might be one person in a rural community out far away from everybody else, and they don't have the same opportunities. Maybe they're not even close to a college to get further education. They don't have even know where to go to get training. So it's so exciting, and I'm going to make a goal. I almost hesitate to say it out loud. I want to double that number again for next year. So I hope you guys all in this room will help me do that. Okay, so this year we have 52 people attending college, taking classes or pursuing ECE degrees. And we have over 165,000, which I think that's more now. It's like another 20,000 on top of that. So we have $185,000 approximately to pay out this year in stipends.